You're allowed to hold your head up, shoulders back, chest out, proud. Walk, walk, walk into this version of yourself. Because who you're becoming now, that person that sets boundaries without apology, that person that listens to their body, that says no without guilt, chooses softness on purpose. This is the restorative space where body, mind, and spirit meet in truth. From tension to tenderness, we explore how to heal, feel, and return home to ourselves. Welcome back to the restorative space. I am so happy to be here with you again this week. I can't believe that we are already in the last week of December of 2025. I would like to say that it's been a blur, but it hasn't. I remember every single thing that has happened this year. And some things have been great, some things have been not so great, some things have been challenging. But we are here, and we are in the final episode for the restorative space for this year. And I am going to merge two episodes into one. If you remember, at the end of episode 2, I mentioned that the next episode would be called Exhale. And it is. But as I got to thinking, I was thinking, what happens after you exhale? Do you just stay there? Do you start moving forward? Do you go around in circles? What do you do? Well, you know what you do? You rise. So this episode is beautifully and wonderfully titled Episode 4 of the Renewal series, Exhale and Rise. Now, before we get started, I would like to mention that you can always find us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and other platforms. Just look for the Restorative Space and we'll be right there. Welcome into the final week of December 2025. And before we begin this week, I want to invite you to arrive right here fully, not as who you need to be, not as who you're becoming, but simply as who you are right now. And before we dive into the rest of this thing, we are going to do a little breath work as usual, because that gets us ready to listen. It calms our nervous system. It grounds us. It steadies us. It gets us ready. And as a gentle reminder, that breath work looks a little something like this. You're going to inhale for 3 seconds, hold for 3 seconds, and then exhale for 3 seconds. Now keep in mind, when you are inhaling peace. During the hold, you are holding space for yourself. And when you exhale, you are exhaling any worry, doubt, or anything that is holding you back. Let's begin. Inhale and exhale. One more time. Inhale and exhale. Wonderful. This space, the restorative space, is for you. It's for your body, your breath, your becoming. And as I mentioned, today's episode is part of the renewal series. And we're moving through 2 phases together. Where I'm moving through the exhale phase and then rise. We're not going to force. We're not going to rush. We're just going to allow. Because renewal doesn't happen when we push. It happens when we slow down and we soften. And because this is kind of two different things in one, we are going to take it into two different parts. And of course, part one is called Exhale. And I want you to think about what is it that you've been holding on to, because now it's time to release it. It's not going to be one of those dramatic, very loud releasing. We will not be burning it all down, like Bernadette did in Waiting to Exhale, but it will be quiet and honest. And that's what happens when the body finally feels safe enough to stop bracing. If you're anything like me, you've been holding on to things for a very long time, whether it's from your childhood, from middle school, from a young adult, a first marriage, this marriage, raising kids. You've been holding on to things for a very long time. And you can be grieving a lot of different things. And as I mentioned a while back, you can even be grieving yourself, the loss of you. And while holding that grief, you realize that you never really had enough space for it because it was large and it's heavy. You've been holding responsibility that wasn't yours, holding on to strength because there was no other option, didn't have time to fall apart. You may have learned early that rest wasn't safe, that softness wasn't allowed. What you crying for? Stop crying. You're a big girl. You're a big boy. Stop crying. Softness wasn't allowed. You may have even learned that slowing down meant falling behind. So your body adapted. You started guarding your heart. It stayed alert. You started looking over your shoulder. It stayed ready, ready to fight. And you didn't do all of this because you're broken. You did it because you were surviving. And you know what survival does? It asks us to hold our breath, hold our breath, waiting for the next thing to happen, waiting for the other shoe to drop. You hold your breath in anticipation of what's next. But within all of this, as we are moving around it and we are navigating it, our physical body remembers. Your body remembers everything that your mind tried to move past. So stress settles right in your shoulders. Grief lingers in your chest and it applies pressure. It applies so much pressure. Fear tightens your jaw. You got that mean look while you're walking through the store. And it's not because you're mean, it's because you're scared. And exhaustion sinks into the hips and the legs. And you carry all of that negative emotion right in your gut. And when we finally slow down, sometimes the body doesn't relax right away. It's still moving. Sometimes it resists, not because it doesn't want peace, but because it learned vigilance. If rest has ever felt uncomfortable for you, it's not that you're doing it wrong. It's just that your nervous system is learning a new language, a softer one, and it's going to feel uncomfortable at first. So I want you to think about this. And as I give myself permission, I want you to give yourself permission to release all of it. Now, hear me out. You don't need to understand everything to release something, okay? You don't have to forgive. You don't have to reframe. You don't even have to be positive right now. Just be. Because sometimes release sounds like I'm tired. And sometimes healing is just honesty without the judgment part. And keep in mind, exhale doesn't erase your past, it loosens its grip. And that is what matters. Giving yourself a little wiggle room, a little room to think. And while we're doing that, while we're creating room and space for ourselves, let's do a little guided exhale practice. Okay, so if you can, place one hand on your chest and one hand on your belly. You don't have to change anything or move. And of course, do this as long as you can safely do it. And the only thing that I want you to notice right now is your breath, the gentle ins and outs of your breathing as you slow it down, as you become calmer, as peace settles in and washes over you. And now we're going to inhale for 4. Right now, inhale 1, 2, 3. Exhale for 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We're going to do it one more time. Inhale, exhale. Let your shoulders drop, my friend. Unclench your jaw. Let your tongue rest at the bottom of your mouth. Just keep breathing. And with every exhale, imagine something quietly leaving your body. Not everything all at once, just one thing. The weight, the pressure, the need to hold it all together. And let me remind you, you don't have to put a name to it. You don't have to know exactly what it is to let it go. Just breathe. And if you have some tears, let those tears go too. It's cleansing. Maybe you've been holding that back as well. A scream, release it. Let it go. You'll feel better. Just stay right there. Let it go. Exhale doesn't mean collapse. It means space, a space where clarity grows. And then it's time to rise. We're not going to rise by force because you rise when the weight is gone. So as you release, as you start to let go, you will automatically start to rise. When you stop carrying what was never meant for you to carry, it wasn't meant to follow you forward. There's no rush. There's wisdom in the pause. There's wisdom between these chapters from exhale to rise. And as we enter into part 2, rise. We're going to rise without rushing. And in your mind, or you can do this, rise, stand up, look up, because that's where you're on your way to. You're on your way to the top. And rise doesn't mean hustling and moving fast. It does not mean proving. It does not mean becoming unrecognizable to yourself. This version of rising is rooted, is grounded, is intentional. You're not starting over. You're starting from experience, from discernment, self-trust. So you don't need to sprint. You don't need to sprint into the next version of your life. You're allowed to walk. You're allowed to sashay and move at your own pace. You're allowed to hold your head up, shoulders back, chest out, proud. Walk, walk, walk into this version of yourself. Because who you're becoming now, that person that sets boundaries without apology, that person that listens to their body, that says no without guilt, chooses softness on purpose, that person that you're becoming now, that person that will not abandon themselves anymore to keep the peace. You will speak your truth softly. You will not override your intuition to stay connected. You know why? Because you trust yourself now. And we're not asking to be perfect, just enough for today. And let's be clear, every day has its own amount of enough. Think about what I just said. Every single day has its own amount of enough, whatever that looks like for you. And that, my dear, is growth. We're moving into a new year. And I want you to take a moment to imagine a year that feels calmer, slower, not busier, just steadier, more consistent. That's the word of the year for the year: consistency. Imagine what your life would feel like if peace was the foundation, if that was your baseline, if your nervous system felt supported, if you didn't need to earn your rest, but you took rest when you felt it was necessary because you honored it. Let that version of your life feel possible. Envision it because it is possible and because it is so. And I know every day comes with its own set of expectations and challenges. So I'd like to share a few affirmations with you. Only take what resonates and leave the rest, or take them all, and maybe you'll use one or two now and some later. And here they are. I release what no longer belongs to me. I rise without abandoning myself. I move forward with clarity and calm. I trust the pace of my healing. I want you to let those land softly in your heart, on your mind. As we begin to close this space together, the restorative space, take one more slow breath in and gently exhale. Just remember, you're allowed to put things down. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to know what's next, because we're creating what's next. Renewal doesn't require or ask us to be certain. It just asks us to be present and patient. So if something shifted in you today, in these last few weeks, in these last few months, even slightly, honor that. Honor it, because healing doesn't have to be loud, and it doesn't have to be huge. It doesn't have to be any of that to be real. Strength can be gentle. Power can be calm, and rest can be productive. And so many of us need to hear that and understand that rest is still productive, because you are creating space. You're creating clarity so that you can continue to give of yourself. You are recharging your battery. You are refilling your cup. Just remember that. I want to thank you for being here. And again, it's so unbelievable that we are already at the end of 2025. But you know what's different now than the beginning of this year? You're choosing yourself. And that is a beautiful thing. As a reminder, you can always find us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and other platforms. Just look for the Restorative Space and we'll be right there. And if any of these episodes have helped you, please like, share, subscribe, tell everybody about us so that they can join us. You are always welcome here. Thank you. Thank you for being a part of the Restorative Space family. And until next time, keep breathing, keep softening, and keep rising. I'm your host, Sandy Rose, and this is the Restorative Space.
Thank you for joining the Restorative Space with your host, Sandy Rose. If today's time together offered clarity or calm, be sure to like, share, and subscribe so more people can discover this space. Until next time, stay grounded and stay well.